Once upon a time, a princess named Snow White lived in a castle with her dad, the king, and her stepmother, the queen. Her father had always said to his child that she needs to be reasonable to everyone at court. Said he, people come here to the castle when they have an issue. They need the ruler to make a fair choice. Absolutely nothing is more vital than to be reasonable. The queen, Snow White's stepmother, understood just how much this implied to her other half. At the very first possibility, she rushed to her magic mirror. "Mirror, mirror, on the wall," stated the queen. "Who is the fairest of them all?" "What?" yelled the queen. "Nobody is more reasonable than me. The queen needs to have the best of whatever, everyone understands that. What could be more reasonable? Snow White is the fairest of them all," repeated the magic mirror. "What do you understand, you're a mirror?" roared the queen. And she stormed off. Still, the queen was troubled. So bothered was she that the queen chose to be rid of the girl, as soon as and for all. "I cannot wait another day," she declared. The queen called for her servant, a huntsman. "Find a reason to take Snow White deep into the woods," she said, pointing her long finger at the servant. "Then kill her." The huntsman was surprised. But she was the queen, and what could he do? The next day he took Snow White into the woods. As he drew his knife to kill her, Snow White reversed. "Snow White," said the huntsman, "I cannot do this." "Obviously, you can take these," said Snow White. "That's not what I indicated," stated the servant. He dropped to his knees. "How can I state this to you? The queen, your stepmother, bought me to eliminate you," he said. "But I cannot." "She did what?" Snow White called out with alarm. "You must flee," stated the huntsman. "Far into the woods. Now? And never return to the castle." Snow White ran and turned into the woods as quickly as she could. Deeper and deeper, she ran. It was getting dark, and the wolves were starting to wail. She tripped and her skirt was torn. Tall tree branches appeared to reach down to the real ground to get her. She was scratched, bleeding and frightened. Yet she worked on and on. Then suddenly, far away, there was a light. Who was living so deep in the woods? She stepped up, more detailed. It was home. Yet no noise came from the cottage, just light from the windows. "Hey there!" she said, knocking gently on the door. "Hello." No response. The door was a little bit open. She opened it some more and actioned in. "Hello, is anyone home?" She browsed. What a mess! She had never seen a messier living space. "This home may be the biggest mess I ever saw," she thought. "However, it's a roof over my head for tonight. Perhaps if I clean up around here, I can make my sleep." As she cleaned up, she thought about somebody she currently missed. Prior to her daddy's remarriage, she and the prince who resided in the next kingdom were familiar with each other. They would take long strolls in the royal garden and tell each other stories and laugh. After the queen had moved into the castle, her stepmother had made a new guideline: no more visitors. Now the prince had to slip over the palace gate in secret. He would call out to her from under her window and they might talk a bit that way. It wasn't as great as the long strolls, however it was the absolute best they could handle. Now that she had to escape from home, would she ever see him again? After Snow White tidied up the living space, she went upstairs. On the second floor, there were 7 little beds lined up in a row, as if for kids. Exhausted from cleaning, Snow White yawned and lay throughout all 7 of the beds. Soon she fell quickly asleep. In the meantime, the 7 dwarfs were heading house from a long day of operating in the gem mines. You can imagine their surprise when they saw their cottage all cleaned up when they opened the door. "What sort of magic is this?" stated among the dwarfs, whose name was Doc. "I would not mind more magic like this," said another of the dwarfs with a smile. His name was Dopey. "We'd much better inspect upstairs," said another dwarf, whose name was Grumpy. "Something is fishy around here, that's for sure." There, lying across all their beds, was a young girl, quick asleep. "Who are you?" As soon as, said all the dwarfs at. Snow White bolted awake. The 7 dwarfs could tell she was as stunned as they were. Quickly they all unwanted and shared their stories. Snow White discovered their names: Bashful, Doc, Dopey, Grumpy, Delighted, Sleepy, and Sneezy. She told them all about her stepmother. That her stepmother had tried to get the huntsman to kill her, that the huntsman had set her free in the woods, and that she might never ever return house once again. "Stay here, with us," stated Bashful. "That's sweet," said Snow White. "But if I were to remain here at your home, I would need to do something for all of you." "You currently tidied up our place," stated Sneezy. "Keeping your home tidy will be simple," stated Snow White, "as long as all of us pitch in. I will let everyone know what part they can do, and I will do my share too, of course." "That's reasonable," said Happy. "However, there should be something else I can do for you," said Snow White. The 7 dwarfs shrugged. "Do you understand how to check out?" stated Doc. "We have these books filled with wonderful tales and would enjoy being able to read them." Therefore, it was agreed that Snow White would teach them how to read. To celebrate their new friendship, Snow White and the 7 dwarfs sang and danced the night away. The next morning before they left for work, the 7 dwarfs alerted Snow White that she need not open the door to anyone who understands what evil her stepmother might do. The princess nodded in contrast, and the dwarfs left the house. The princess prepared her very first reading lesson. She also prepared a great hot meal for the 7 dwarfs when they returned house that night. And so, the days passed. Back at the castle, the queen marched as much as her mirror. "Mirror, mirror on the wall," she demanded. "Who is the fairest of them all?" "Snow White is the fairest of them all," said the magic mirror. "That's impossible!" screamed the queen. "The girl is no longer alive." "Snow White lives," said the magic mirror. And an image was shown on the mirror of Snow White living in the home of the 7 dwarfs. The queen reddened with rage. She shouted, "Who does she believe she is? Snow White will not get away with this." At the home of the dwarfs the next afternoon, when the 7 dwarfs were away at work, there was a knock on the door. "Who is it?" stated Snow White. She kept in mind the caution of the 7 dwarfs, not to unlock anybody. "It's just a bad old female," came a squeaky voice, "selling apples." Yet it was the wicked queen, camouflaged as an old female. "It's drizzling out here, my dear," stated her voice through the door. "Please let me in." Poor thing, thought Snow White, needing to go door to door selling apples in the rain. Therefore, she unlocked. "Take an appearance at this big red apple," stated the old female, who as you understand by now was really the queen in disguise. She held the red apple close to Snow White's face. "Lovely, my dear, isn't it?" "I would like quite to buy your apple," stated Snow White. "But I have no cash." "That great comb in your hair will make an excellent trade," said the old lady. "Well, all ideal then," said Snow White. She took the comb out of her hair and gave it to the old lady, who then offered her the apple. Snow White took a huge bite. Sadly, the fruit was poisoned. At the same time, Snow White was up to the ground in a deep sleep. "Yes," shouted the queen, pumping the air with her fists. Then the door flew open. In marched the 7 dwarfs, home from the day's work. Shocked undoubtedly, they were to find Snow White lying on the floor and what needs to be her stepmother beside her, chuckling. They went after that evil queen out the door, and into the storm. To the extreme top of a mountain, they chased her. Suddenly, lightning struck the mountain. The queen fell, and she was never seen again. However, there was absolutely nothing to assist poor Snow White. She stayed still in her deep sleep. The 7 dwarfs gently raised her into a glass casket. Day and night they watched her. One day, the prince happened to go through. Ever since he had discovered that Snow White was missing at the castle, he was looking for her, everywhere. Now he had lastly found her, but in such a state. The prince pulled open the glass coffin. Her face seemed so fresh, even because of a deep sleep. He gently took among Snow White's hands in his own and kissed it. At the same time, Snow White's eyes opened. With Love's very first kiss, the evil queen's spell was permanently gone. Now absolutely nothing stood in the way for Snow White and the prince to be together permanently. They went back to the prince's kingdom and lived happily ever after.